A heavy, suffocating smell of dried lavender, camphor, and raw human decay wakes you up at 4:30 a.m. You sit up on a hard wooden bench inside a cold stone townhouse in Venice, Italy. It is the scorching summer of 1630. The Great Plague of Milan has crossed the Venetian lagoon, and right now, over 500 people are dying in this city every single day. You reach for your equipment resting on the wooden table. You don't wear normal linen or silk clothes. You strap on a heavy, ankle-length overcoat made of thick leather, completely coated from collar to hem in a sticky layer of suet, pine resin, and beeswax. In 17th century Europe, the brightest medical minds believe the plague is caused by miasma, toxic, corrupted air produced by rotting corpses and alignment of the planets. They believe poisonous vapors enter the human body through the skin's open pores. Your wax-coated coat isn't fashion. It's your primitive biohazard suit, designed to seal your pores and prevent infected blood, pus, and flea-infested fluids from soaking into your skin. Next comes the iconic beak mask, invented just a few years earlier by Charles Delorme, the personal physician to King Louis XIII of France. You pull the heavy leather bird mask over your head. Its two tiny eye openings are fitted with thick, round glass lenses. The prominent, 6-inch hollow beak is packed tightly with over 50 crushed aromatic ingredients: dried mint, rose petals, camphor, storax, powdered myrrh, and liquid laudanum. In 1630, doctors genuinely believed that if you smell the unbearable stench of the dying, you are inhaling the plague itself. The sweet-smelling herbs inside your beak act as a 17th century respirator filter. Finally, you grab your most vital tool, a 3-foot-long polished wooden cane. You never, ever touch a patient with your bare hands. You use the cane to feel pulse rates, lift heavy blankets, push away frantic crowds, and strip the clothing off rotting bodies. Welcome to Venice in 1630. You aren't a heroic savior with a modern miracle cure. You are a medico della peste, a plague doctor hired under a high-stakes municipal contract by the Venetian Republic. In less than 12 hours, you will walk into houses overflowing with black blood, use red-hot iron blades on screaming patients, and navigate streets where dead bodies are piled like firewood. Here is how you survive the next 24 hours in the dying city of Venice. It's 5:30 a.m. You pour yourself a small cup of warm wine mixed with theriac, a famous medieval medical cure-all made from dried viper flesh, opium, and crushed minerals. It tastes metallic and bitter, but you swallow it down, praying it strengthens your blood. You step out your front door onto the cobblestone streets of the San Marco district. The usual bustling sounds of Venice, gondoliers singing, merchants yelling in the markets, children playing by the canals, are dead silent. The city is under total lockdown. The famous canals are eerie and dark, saving for the heavy Black Death barges rowed by pizzigamorti, former convicts and desperate men hired to clear corpses from the streets. These men have the highest mortality rate in Europe. They throw pale, bloated bodies 3 or 4 high onto the wooden barges, rowing them out toward Lazaretto Vecchio, the terrifying quarantine island in the lagoon where tens of thousands of plague victims are dumped into mass lime pits. 6:45 a.m. You begin your morning rounds. You walk up to a narrow stone townhouse marked with a giant red cross freshly painted on the oak door, accompanied by the letters PD, Passato de Peste, passed by plague. You knock 3 times using your wooden cane. The heavy iron bolts slide back. A terrified father stands in the doorway, his eyes bloodshot, wearing vinegar-soaked rags around his face. You step inside, your heavy leather boots clicking on the damp flagstones. You enter the back bedroom. Lying on a straw mattress is his 17-year-old son, shivering uncontrollably despite the summer heat, his fever spiking past 104 degrees Fahrenheit. The air in the room is thick, sweet, and metallic. You do not step too close. You extend your long wooden cane, using the tip to lift the boy's linen shirt. Under his armpits and around his groin are dark, purplish-black swellings the size of apples. These are buboes, massively inflamed lymph nodes filled with necrotic tissue and dead bacteria. You reach into your leather pouch and pull out a red-hot iron lancet. Without hesitation, you press the blade directly into the center of the swollen bubo. The boy screams, his body contorting in agony as black, foul-smelling pus and blood gush onto the straw mattress. You apply live leeches to the wound, believing that drawing out corrupted blood will balance his bodily humors. Deep down, You know the terrifying truth. These brutal treatments don't work. You aren't fighting bad air or unbalanced humors. You are fighting Yersinia pestis, a lethal bacterium living in the bellies of oriental rat fleas, carried by the millions of black rats infesting Venice's stone canals and grain ships. Over 60% of the patients you touch today will be dead before sunrise tomorrow. 11 a.m. You walk through the Rialto district. The sun is blazing, pushing temperatures near 90 degrees. Inside your wax-coated leather suit, sweat pours down your face, soaking your undergarments. The glass lenses of your beak mask fog up constantly, forcing you to wipe them with your leather gloves. As you turn down a narrow alleyway, a hysterical woman runs toward you, falling to her knees, reaching for the hem of your coat. She begs you to visit her sick daughter.
You must come quickly.
You raise your wooden cane instantly, pushing her back to maintain a 6-foot distance. In 1630, doctors who allowed desperate citizens to grab their clothes contract the plague within days. You hand her a small clay jar containing crushed garlic, dried wormwood, and vinegar, telling her to wash her home's floors with it, knowing it provides nothing more than a false sense of hope. 1:30 p.m. You arrive at the health magistracy, the Sanita, located near the Grand Canal. Venice has one of the most organized plague response systems in the ancient world, but the sheer volume of death has completely broken it. You present your daily ledger to the city magistrates sitting behind heavy glass partitions. You report the names, addresses, and status of every home you visited. As an official plague doctor, the Republic pays you a staggering salary, over 100 ducats a month, for times what a normal physician earns. But that wealth comes with a brutal price tag. Your contract strictly forbids you from treating private, wealthy patients for extra money, and you are living under total social quarantine. You cannot hold your own children, you cannot dine at a tavern, and whenever you walk down the street, people lock their windows and run in terror. To the people of Venice, your bird mask isn't the sight of help. It is the literal harbinger of death. 4 p.m., you cross the wooden bridge over to the public lazaretto staging area. The situation here is apocalyptic. Hundreds of sick citizens are being loaded onto flat-bottomed boats heading for Lazaretto Nuovo. The air is filled with the deafening sound of weeping, prayers, and priests chanting in Latin. You inspect the newly arrived victims, using your cane to check for buboes, deciding who is healthy enough to remain quarantined at home and who must be shipped to the island. You see healthy children being ripped from infected mothers, and husbands begging guards to let them die beside their wives. You keep your face hidden behind the rigid leather beak, showing zero emotion, because in this job, empathy will destroy your sanity in less than a week. 7:30 p.m. The sun drops below the Venetian skyline, casting a deep orange glow over the domes of St. Mark's Basilica. The daily quarantine bell begins to toll across the lagoon. Anyone caught on the streets of Venice after 8 p.m. without an official medical pass faces immediate arrest or execution by the city guards. You limp back to your isolated townhouse in the Castello district. Your legs ache from hauling 30 pounds of leather and wax through the heat all day. You step into the entryway, where a copper tub filled with boiling water and harsh wood ash vinegar awaits. You unstrap the leather mask, feeling the cool night air hit your red, sweat-soaked face for the first time in 14 hours. Deep red impressions from the mask are carved into your skin. You strip off the heavy leather coat, dipping your hands, arms, and face into the burning vinegar solution, scrubbing until your skin turns raw. You hang your beak mask on a wooden peg by the door. 9 p.m. You sit alone at your table by the light of a single tallow candle, eating a quiet dinner of stale bread, salted sardines, and cold red wine. Outside your window, the silence of Venice is broken only by the splash of oars as the death barges navigate the dark canals, collecting the bodies of the people you examined this morning. You check your wrists and groin for the 100th time today, feeling for any small bump or swelling under your skin. Satisfied for tonight, you lean your head back against the cold stone wall, listening to the church bells ringing across the water for another lost soul. You survived today, but tomorrow at dawn, you will strap on the beak once again, until the plague either leaves Venice or claims you too. If you made it through this haunting 24-hour journey into 17th century Venice, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Want to see what happens if you woke up in 800 AD as a Maya high priest during a catastrophic drought? Click the video on your screen right now. Stay curious and stay sharp.